Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Tony Fergie. I want to take the time out to thank all my subscribers. The old ones, the new ones, the ones that just keeps coming back because you love what you hear and what you're seeing. Now today I'm going to talk about slave women. It seems the Americas, when I say the Americas, also include the Caribbean. In 1808, there were no more slave ships per se. But instead now they've decided to do it another way, which has created breeding farms. So black women and black men were no more than just a cattle. And the fittest and the most prestige looking cattle would be the one that they would breed. Now, young girls were required to start having babies at 13. And by the time they reach 21, they need to have 5 children. Wow. And it's random men that sleep with these women so they can have babies. It makes you stop and think. I wonder if the promiscuous ways of young black girls or black women per se and black men is passed down through the bloodline. It's not necessarily that they want to do it, but because they were forced to do it for so many years. Is it possible? Let's watch these videos and then let's come back and let's talk about it.
In 1808, the United States of America banned the slave trade. They have to do something so as not to let that happen. So they resorted to one of the most inhumane and immoral ways by establishing breeding farms. The slave owners, their sons, neighbors, and guests would take turns on black women to breed them and have more slaves.
To add to the supply of slaves, slaveholders looked at the fertility of slave women as part of their productivity and intermittently forced the women to have large numbers of children.
Imagine being just 13 years old and already burdened with the expectation of bearing children for your masters. By the time these young women reached the age of 20, they would have been subjected to 4 to 5 pregnancies,
with no more rights than a cow or a horse. During this time period, the terms breeders, breeding slaves, childbearing women, breeding period, and too old to breed became familiar.
Did you know that black female slaves were used as wet nurses too? Yes, you heard right. They were. Since slavery, the dehumanization of black people has been entrenched deeply in the social pyramid. One such is the tragic case of black enslaved mothers who were forced to breastfeed their owners' children at the expense of theirs. History has it that the practice of having black lactating mothers breastfeed white kids originated in the 1600s when malaria claimed numerous lives of many white settlers. The slave owners believed that feeding their babies with milk from their native slaves would provide them with natural immunity towards malaria. This had a trickle-down impact on not only racial, but also the psychological, financial, and political fabric of the society throughout the black community.
Why your black ass would be able to come over to America and be able to do anything is because of the hard work, the blood, the sweat, the fighting, and the dedication of African Americans who on this soil changed this land. African Americans are the ones who got this country integrated. Let me explain something to you. White people in this country did not give us anything. We have had to take. And this is why you see what is going on in the news and the media right now. We took in the 1960s what it is that we had. We took their lynchings, their terrorizing, their burning down of our neighborhoods, and we continue to rebuild and rebuild and revisit and retwist and re-rise up what it is that we have done in this country. And the only reason why anybody can bring their black ass over here from another mother effing country is because of what black Americans have done on this land. And I'm saying this as a person who is bicultural, whose father is not American, doggone it. My father is an immigrant, and he was able to come over to this country and do something in this country because of the black people who fought, who died, who bled, who were lynched on this land. So don't sit your black ass over there in some other goddamn country talking about what you would do in America. The only reason why your black ass could even get the F over here is because of what we have done. Doggone it. Listen to what it is that I'm saying.
Okay, guys, what did you think about it? Is it possible that the promiscuous ways of black men and black women, and black men having so much baby mamas, and black women having so much baby fathers. It's not that they want to do it, but because it was passed down in the bloodline for so many years, it's like inevitable. How is that possible? Do you ever notice when there's a man that have a child and this man was a doctor or he was good with his hands? His great-grandchildren may come down with the same exact trait without even meeting their great-grandfather. Now, if black people were subjected to this type of lifestyle, and then after 1 or 2 generations, it becomes somewhat the norm to them after a while, they have already forgotten what it was like to be a family. But then there's 1 or 2 that still kept still held the family structure. But then the men probably still were, promiscuous, and the women were still somewhat was promiscuous. And that could also include why we have so many DNA issues in Jamaica when the men were falling for their children. I'm just saying. Now, we have to go way back in order to help ourselves, to find ourselves, to discover our true selves. Because it's not going to be 4 generations back. Because if we're going to look back 400 years, that's not going to be enough. Because 400 years ago, the shift happened, the change happened. So for us to get back to our true selves of empresses and empress and queens and princesses and kings and prince, we have to go back even further. Because we were not a people that did these things. We were a people that had family structure. We were a people that had cultures, not religion. We had spirituality. We were a people that were connected as higher beings to an even higher being, which is a creator. So guys, let this video encourage you. Let it push you for a better tomorrow, a better today. And forget about our yesterday. But not forgetting the people that came before us, that went through these things for us to be here. Now, I'm not sure if you guys remember the well-built, tall gentleman that they used, and he fathered 200 children, random women, because he was a slave. They look at his build and say, oh, he'll be able to tolerate, all the hard work and all the hard labor and all of that stuff. Let's not blame our men. And men, let's not blame our women. Let's stop blaming ourselves for things that happen that were somewhat out of our control. Some are higher control than others, But let's start by healing ourselves and start healing each other, by encouraging each other. I can start by saying, black men, I know you don't like when black women continue to remind you of who you are. So you tend to stray because you're not reminded of. But also remember that we too went through some similar things. And it's difficult when you're fighting yourself and fighting others. So you feel more comfortable when you drift to a place where you feel wanted and not neglected. So let me start by apologizing. And let's start moving forward by apologizing to each other. Not because, you have to or you want to, because it's the right thing to do. Because we're all suffering somewhere or another. So let's build each other up. When you see a black man walking down the street, ladies, say to him, my brother, you are a king. And black men, when you see your sisters walking down the street, remind them, you are a queen. Don't look at the way she dressed. She'll get out of it eventually. Because when a king notices a queen and admires her and reminds her, you never know what inside will ignite and remind her of who she really is. Anyways, guys, this is Tony Fergie, and I just want to say thank you guys for coming back. I want to let you guys know that I love and appreciate y'all. Now go on ahead and have a fantabulous day.